My name is Emily Poirier, and I'm the head of short film here at FNC, and I'll be your host for this Q&A. You've just watched program number 4 of the international competition. In this program, you've watched Song of Clouds by Ankit Poudel, Fishbowl by Emmanuel Ngabo, Our Kingdom by Luís Costa, The Eyes of Summer from Rajee Samarasinghe, and The Unseen River by Phạm. So with us today, we have Ankit Poudel. Hey.
Hello, everyone.
Luís Costa. Hey.
Hey.
We have Rajee Samarasinghe.
Hello.
Hey. And Phạm. Hello. So first of all, thank you so much for accepting our invitation to this online Q&A. So thank you guys for being here. So the first general question, it's more like an introduction. So we will answer in the same order that I presented you. So can you introduce yourself, your practice, and also the film that is shown here at FNC this year? And we will start with Ankit.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ankit Poudel. I'm from Nepal. And my film Song of Clouds is screening this year in FNC. And thank you, FNC family, for having us. And yeah, I think my film mostly revolves around longing, loneliness, memories, death. And yeah, it's...
And can you tell more about your practice? Is this like your first, second short? Are you working more in fiction or?
Oh yeah, I mostly work in fictions, and this is my first debut short film as a director. And I used to mostly work as cinematographer and producer.
Okay.
And yeah.
Thank you. So same question for Luís.
Hello, my name is Luís Costa. I'm a film director based in Porto, in Portugal. My film here is called Our Kingdom. In fact, it's the second film that I have here showing on nouveaucinema. So thank you for giving me this opportunity to come back. Regarding the film, it's a film based on the idea of a book by a Portuguese author, Walter Ugumem, and it's about this village and this kid that lives there, and it's like a mixture of his point of view on the village and so on in a context of hunger and, let's say, death.
Mm-hmm.
I hope it doesn't creep you out.
Thank you, Luís. We can follow with the same question with Rajee.
Hello, my name is Rajee Samarasinghe. I'm a filmmaker originally from Sri Lanka, and I make films mostly in nonfiction right now and hybrid. The film I just showed is called The Eyes of Summer. It's it kind of explores my mother's early interactions with spirits in her village, and yeah, that's.
Thank you. So same question for Phạm.
So hello, my name is Phạm Ngọc. I'm a filmmaker from Vietnam, so I'm glad to be here with everyone. This is I will show the Unseen River, which is the third short fiction film. Actually, some one short film from the Omnibus Mekong 2030 was funded by a festival in Laos. It's called Luang Prabang Film Festival. So I'm also thanks to the people there that can allow me to bring the film solely into the festivals.
And can you speak about more about what is it about your film, The Unseen River?
Yes. So Dancing River is a short film with two storylines. The first storyline is about an old woman who go upstream to the hydroelectric power plant to meet her old lover, the one who she got met 30 years ago. And the second storyline is about the young couple that go downstream to the place near the sea that in order to cure his insomniac.
My name is Ngabo Emmanuel. My artistic name is Ngabo Aganza. The film that was selected in this festival is Fishbowl. And my practice, I'm a filmmaker and also a visual artist.
And can you tell us like the storyline of Fishbowl?
Fishbowl is a story that talks about a young artist who discovers that his closest friend had feelings for him in a situation that I can say that in a situation that romance should not be the concern in that particular situation. So it is a story that not only explore in a I can say in a small short time, that it doesn't only explore the romance between a possibility of a romance between the two characters, but shows also how the image is important in when it comes to the situation that they're in that case, which is a funeral. Like the world around them, how it how there is a certain way that they have to
act.
To act. I can say yes, it is right. They have to act in that certain moment that they're in. So I don't know, the boundaries of my English are getting in, but
yeah. Thank you. So the second more general and generic question is like, what interests you in fiction and in cinema? So are you more focused on the visual aspect of filmmaking, like art direction, styling, cinematography? Or are you more interested to work with actors, interaction with actors? What is your relation to maybe sound and sound mixing and soundtrack? Are you working with music? Like, are you writing the music in your like script at the beginning, or it's almost at the end? So why is fictional cinema your outlet? And we will start back with Ankit.
I'm sorry, can you like repeat the questions? Because I kind of like, there are lots of questions. I'm kind of confused.
So like, why is fictional cinema your outlet? What do you like to explore in fictional cinema and like in the visual or sound effect of it?
Speaking of image and sound, like I think like both of them are really important in a film. I would say like sound is like plays a very important role in my film actually, like, and I kind of designed like the image and sounds like have like both different narratives to it, and like juxtaposing them both kind of gives a really different narrative. And yeah, I kind of use those. And regarding fiction, like I really want to I kind of try to explore this like the line between like the fiction and non-fiction in my film. Like I kind of try to do that, and like while working with actors, like, and I mean, they didn't knew like they were acting,
Yeah.
and like the image, the images are like photos you see in the film are like their family photo and everything. Like the house is the actor's house, so
Mm-hmm.
we like staying there filming her every time. So yeah, I kind of try to like do that with fiction and non-fiction, like try to play with that as well.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you. So we'll follow with the same question with Luís.
It is a really long or complex question, but I will try. I don't believe that I prefer fiction. Oh well, yes, I work more in fiction, but it's why I do it, or why I love it. It's I don't know. Maybe it's just to try to have the possibility of reproducing some impossible reality in a film, or our reality. Let's put it like that. But each film is a different film. Right now, I'm working on a new short film, which I'm co-directing with a friend, and it will go completely away from my way of thinking things and so on. So we have a lot of possibilities, of course. But when I think of a fiction film myself, I usually I go through a more visual side of it, and not, I'm not saying not narrative. Of course, it has the narrative inside of it, but it's more, for me, it's more like a poem, and I like to work films inside of this kind of visual poems and images that eventually stick in your head, I hope. But and regarding sound and so on, in this case, the music was composed after the film, yes, but it was really constrained to a series of rules. It's a really simple tune, let's say, just 2 chords, but it was made for the film, so it was supposed to be an extension of the image and the story, and to feel, I would say, to feel sorry, my English is stuck, but to feel kind of with a constrained feel, you know. And eventually in this case, even in this case, the film is based on that book that I told you about, the same name, Our Kingdom. And my ultimate goal would be to make a film that you will live a film as you live the book, so with the same feeling, with the same heart feeling of the in relation with the images and the kid and so on, and all the elements of it. So the fiction gives us that possibility of achieving something which would be impossible to film outside. Yeah. So that's the romantic part of it for me. But sorry, I don't know if I'm answering your question, but yeah.
Thank you. We'll follow the same question with Rajee.
So a lot of times I don't even know that I'm making a film when I go into a space. I definitely don't know if I'm making a documentary or a narrative or whatever. Actually, I really just bring my camera and hope for the best. I guess I develop a language to express the truth of a place or a situation, and that happens very organically. In this case, I mean, I went to my mother's village and I was playing games with you know, my cousins. I was having a lot of fun, but you know, I was trying to explore my my mother's life here, because she hardly ever talks about her childhood. So I wanted to kind of explore it through film and the people in her life. So really, it was it kind of happened without me even noticing. So I was yeah, really just trying to improvise, and this narrative kind of developed out of that. Yeah.
Wow, thank you. Same question to Phạm.
So actually, I was an architect, like the urban planner before become a filmmaker, and sometimes I also do photography. And I also have a hobby like reading literature very much. So that I think sometimes I really think that cinema is that's something really suitable for me, because I can like put everything, my hobbies inside in that. And because in cinema, it also allow me to work with many people that I'm admired to. So it's really like something I feel that I really belongs to. And but for all the process of filmmaking, and I think I'd like to most of the process, but not like I think most people they are like but not the like raising fund process, and also not the distribution process, because like it's like the naturistic, my characteristic, like I'm not really feel comfortable in front of like the crowd. So
It's a way to express yourself. Yeah.
Yes.
Perfect. Thank you. So same question for Ngabo, Emmanuel.
Thank you. The way I see it is, I don't really take it for 100% fiction, because I see it. It's a personal point of view. I see it like a good fiction has to have like 50, if not 50% of a real situation or something that was inspired by a real something that happened. And when I'm writing a story, the first thing that I consider is the real situations, the real situation that maybe I'm thinking about. Maybe it is something that happened and I witnessed it, and I witnessed it. So that is my approach on fiction, because I still think that if you really look around, you can see stories happening here and there. So that is a personal point of view. And before I became a director, I was like, I was a sound man. I recorded sound on film set. So I am not much of a cinematographer. And in my project, I think that till now, I use other people to help me on that side, on the visual side. But it doesn't mean that when I'm writing about a story, I stop myself from visualizing maybe a scene, that a specific scene that I want in, but that side I give that job to someone else. But yes, but the story, the sounds that I really want to include in it, the songs, the soundtracks, everything, I take part in that. I have to work close together with the sound man and every other side. I want to be there to see what's happening. So what was the other question, if I can ask?
It was more about, like, you kind of answered it, but maybe you can speak about your relationship to working with actors. Do you like it? Do you look forward to it? Or like...
Yes, I look forward to work with actors, especially the ones that have no experience in front of the camera, since they are the ones who caught my eye. At least I can say that working as a sound man, I have worked on projects where there were actors who, most of them were their first time acting. So it was something that was interesting in exploring, but it doesn't mean that that's the only option. So it is interesting to work with someone who has no experience, as you can just take their humanity in the project, their experience may be in the project, and make it more interesting, to the point that the behind the scenes of the project might be even interesting more than the story you're telling. So at some point, that is something that I'm looking forward to, maybe in my project, some of them. But yeah, it is an interesting way to work with someone who has no experience and who is ready to put out their best to the story that they are working on. So I think that's my answer to the question.
Thank you. So we'll go back to Ankit. Song of Clouds is kind of a meditation on afterlife, and also you see like it's a journey to another world and everything. So can you tell us about how this project like began in your head? Like how did you want it? Why you didn't want to think about afterlife and everything in a film?
I think it kind of goes back to my childhood, like how like lots of events like I went to lots of events that like inspired me to like think of after death and afterlife, and about like memories, how they like how everything exists in the memories. And like I was kind of inspired from like starts from that, and the inspiration for this project kind of comes from my grandmother. Like she was in hospital bed, like on her deathbed, and I used to like take care of her, like, and during the nights I used to stay with her in her hospital. So it kind of like there were lots of she used to share me lots of dreams. She like she like my late grandfather used to come her in her dreams and used to summon her. So it kind of came from that, and I think that it kind of started from that, and like slowly revolved around in different layers.
And can you speak about more the visual aspect of it? Like, why did you film this like in a more naturalistic documentary-ish way?
I think it as like being an independent like micro budget like filmmaker, like you will not have like lots of access to the things like you wanted to, like, so I kind of having lack of equipment and everything, and actor, like lots of things, so I kind of made it my aesthetic in the film. Like I really wanted to work in a really raw way, like the actors are non-professional actors, and like we just had this sound recorder and camera, and like all the lightings are like household lightings, and so it kind of started from that, and I try to like make the sounds as minimal as like as natural and realistic as it could get, and like there's really a simple line of music you'll hear that's like that there's no really lot of music going on. It's really all natural sounds and voiceovers.
Cool, thank you so much, Ankit. So I'm gonna go with Luís. Can you speak about more like the text that was based on your screenplay, and after like how you adapted and what did you change or what did you not keep and everything?
The film was inspired in Our Kingdom by Walter Ugumem, which is a novel, not a really long one, but a long one, and of course to trying to adapt a novel, it's not that easy on the short film, and we can make the mistake of trying to copy everything which is there. or in my perspective, I call it not an adaptation, but just based on the idea of the novel. And Walter and we are friends for a long time now. But he was really kind, and he let me do whatever I wanted with the film. And we don't even respect sometimes the time of the things, the action. Some actions of the end of the book are in the beginning and so on, and it's all mixed, but always respecting a lot the characters and the story itself and the mood of the universe that he wrote. So that for me, that was the main goal, to pass that mood on the film. So the book itself, it's a story about this kid called Benjamin, which is a really in a really spiritual village and religious almost village in Portugal. This kid is really an example of kindness and of faith. But in the context where he's living, in this kind of permanent tension and violence and death, the kid is the ultimate or the last approach to some sort of God or something. And so he's such a believer, let's put it like that. The film is not this romance, but he's such a believer that he can connect, or eventually he sees the death itself. He sees or imagine the death itself in the form of this dog, this black dog. So that's it. So basically the film is like the camera is floating in the set, as if it was like some sort of, well, I don't like to say spirit, but some kind of surveillance on that family, which then in the end it's like our another goal, it was to kill all the time and space of the film, so you cannot identify the spots, you cannot identify the time. It could be 50 years ago, it can be 50 years from now, in a village that can be pretty much everywhere, and create this sense of circular time, you know. If the film starts, it could start in the end, and it could start in the beginning, and so on. It's like a closed set, like it was almost probably this perception or imagination of this kid. So this would be, as everything is filmed like the kid would imagine it, this main character.
And compared to your previous film, like this one is so much more darker in the visual approach. Can you speak about like why you approached this film like that, and with these contrasts and everything?
Well, I would say this is my kind of fiction, or at least my kind of work right now. I'm really into this kind of visual poems and so on in the fiction side of it. The last one, The Everlasting Man, was this documentary that you know really well, but it was about my grandfather with stock footage, but with footage that he took from the 50s, 60s, and 70s, and so on. So obviously the last one is like an homage film. It's trying to make this film that he didn't do, or try to give him the film that eventually he would want to make, but probably a film that only a grandson could make. And well, this has nothing to do with it, because this is a pure fiction, and that's it. So obviously it has its contrasts and so on. But yeah.
Can you speak about the collaboration, maybe with the cinematographer, and like why you decided to do like these types of frames and not necessarily like that near like the approach to the cinematography?
Yeah, eventually one of them, Tiago, it was a shared position. It's here. He's working on. Do you want to say hello, Tiago?
Yeah.
No, he doesn't want to. Okay. But I work with Tiago and Miguel, and from the beginning, we think in projects and films really close together. We we never assume that this is a one-man project and so on. It's a really collaborative perspective of things. And when we were thinking about the film and how to pass this idea of spirit and so on, or at least a presence of, I don't want to say God, but I will, like some sort of God, we eventually we established the camera always a little bit higher over the eye level, and the Steadicam to try to float between the elements. And in the first shot, it's the camera, it's really low because it's kind of this vision of the dog. That's well, spoiler alert or something, but not spoiler alert. But and always the light itself, it's always trying to be as natural as it can be, and the only source of light, justified source of light, is the fire. You don't have a lamp, you don't have anything. Well, because the decoration itself didn't allow lamps, but you get what I mean. So this was really, really, really planned. We went there 1, 2, 3, 4 times, and we established everything to make this kind of coherent image. Because sometimes you don't even need the Steadicam for some shots. But we wanted that floating mood of the camera to feel like eventually even the spectator would be that kind of omniscient presence. You know? So that was it.
Cool, thank you.
Explaining me really good. I'm trying.
No, it's perfect, thank you. So we'll go with Rajee. Can you speak about like what inspired you to go back to your mother village and to do this film, and who inspired you to be these characters in your films?
The inspiration for going there was actually really simple. Like I said, my mom never talks about her childhood. So I really just wanted to go there and just see, just talk to everyone and explore a little bit more. Actually, I hadn't been there for so many years myself. I think I couldn't even remember. I was so small. So it was like going for the first time and just discovering everything. But the characters were all just family and friends. I mean, the film was just made so casually. And I didn't even know it would end up as a film. I was really just I mean, yeah, I had bought my first camera, so I was just very excited to shoot something, anything. And I was just playing these games with my cousins and just listening to stories mostly. I was there for a few months. I was just I wasn't even shooting that much. I was just it was like a family reunion. But you know, I was outside a lot playing these games, and then eventually a narrative kind of developed, and I kind of took it to its natural conclusion. I was like, oh, okay, this kind of resembles something, so let me develop it more. But yeah, that's kind of how it went.
And like, it's in cinema, we don't see often like little village in Sri Lanka and everything. Like, it's not something that we see. Like, so why did you choose to go with black and white images? Like,
that was I mean, it was kind of going back into the past, so I kind of saw it that way. But also the colors, I wanted the spectator to focus on the figurative aspect, the movements. The colors were so, I mean, green and popping. So I kind of wanted to take that away, so the spectator could focus on other things, I suppose.
oh, interesting.
Also, I mean, it's Sri Lanka is so much a tourist place, and like everyone wants to show how beautiful it is, and I kind of wanted to take that away to focus on other things. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So how did you approach sound in that case? Like you did like the sound totally afterwards when you had shoot and like.
Yes, it's I did the whole shoot myself. I did have a sound recorder, but usually I would just leave it on a rock somewhere and forget about it. And, it would be recording for 3 hours or something, and I would come back and most of it was pretty useless. So I had to redo everything. Yeah. Hopefully it sounded natural.
yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you so much, Rajee.
Thank you.
We'll go with Fan Goklan. Fan, can you tell us about like how you created these like two stories of like this woman that meets like her old flames, and at the same time, this guy that wants to can cure his own insomnia and put them together? Like how you managed to do this?
Yes, like what I said before, is like this short film is come from a part of the omnibus called Mekong 2030, and because it's back to the early of 2018, then one festival, some filmmakers in Southeast Asia to do some short film about the Mekong River, because the Mekong is really dangerous.
Yeah.
And its danger. So and my ideas just start from what they gave at that time, like about the river. So during that time, then I read a lot of literature, and then some poems about it, and also some like nonfiction about the river. And I also realized that like that river is the river. I mean, itself from the past is always gave us something very important. Like it's like a metaphor for the time, and then maybe the flow of the consciousness.
Okay.
So the main idea comes from that part. And because of that river, it's I mean it flows through like 6 countries, and all of the it's one of the main rivers in Southeast Asia, and because all the countries, all the lands that it flows through, it is influenced by the Buddhism. So that I think I still want to put something like the spirit of Buddhism inside that, and also like I said before, like the river sometimes be compared with the flow of time, so it's also reasonable to put the kind of the feeling that about the time, like the past and then the present and also the future. Yes. So with me, like for the first storyline, is like the woman go to the hydroelectric power plant, the place that she worked before. It's somehow like she go into the past, like go to the because the dam is something like it blocked the river and it changed the way the river flow. So.
Oh, cool. And how did you manage to do your casting for this film?
The casting.
Acting, actor, non-actors, like how did you like manage this?
Yeah, so with this, then actually I was writing the script for the actor and actress that I really want to work with. Okay. So it's actually I did not cast anyone in that film. I only cast a dog in that film. So all of the actor and actress I know I know, and I follow them sometimes before that, and then sometimes I met them, and then I watch some interview and the way that they react to on Facebook and then on internet, and sometimes I feel that I really knows that people before I work with. So.
Oh, cool. And can you speak about more the visual aspect of your film? Like how did you plan like your cinematography and everything to show the river, but also the story that were happening around the river?
Yes. With me, like with the way that I tell the story, because with me, I really like feel like always feel very enthusiastic about the sound. So with in the film, then besides the the image that I really want to feel, always feel like that the sound seems like a dream, or it seems like it always had the sound, the river inside the film. And my background, it was not as I was not learning in cinema school, in film school. So that actually when doing the films, then I do not really plan to shoot many shoot like I do not plan to shoot like master shoot and then close up and things, but I just only plan like what I really like feel and think like scenes after scenes.
Okay.
What I really think that it works. So
Yeah.
so yeah, so and because I always feel very I really love in architecture and mainly about the space. So when finishing the script, then I bring the script to the location that I choose, and then I try to film, I try to stay in the place that the camera will stand.
Cool. Thank you so much, Phạm. We'll go with Ngabo Emmanuel. I wanted to know more about where this story come from. Is it autobiographical? Like, why you wanted to share like this story with the public, like the funeral and the sentiment with a close friend that are changing or not? So, like, can you explain more about your script?
Yes. This story, I wanted to make, first I wanted to make a film, my first film to be a person, somehow half of it talking about a personal experience. And this story was inspired by the night that, like, the night before the burial of my mother. So that side of it is a true story. The true story. Let me say the true story. And not only that, it's not. I didn't want just to talk about the what happens here in Rwanda before they bury someone, but the in a subtle way, I wanted to talk about how in our society that has many people who are very religious, how they take seriously the image that they portray in certain, uh, in some, maybe in burials, in marriages and other occasions.
Yeah.
So it is something that is really, it's almost like a law written somewhere that has to be followed by every member of the family. So that also was an inspiration to it in a subtle way. It was an inspiration to the story, and also there is a part where it becomes fiction. That's where the girl comes in, and in some way the character of the girl in the story, her initial role in the story was to be, when I was writing it, it was to become some sort of his my character's free space, if I can say, someone who will know him more than anybody else. Like, in some way, I wanted to portray my character to be someone who is pushed to accept a certain image that his religious family and his mother's friends has on him.
Yeah.
And that in some way he 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 he's so he's sort of a black sheep of the family, if I can say it that way. So the story comes from all from that from that from that, and I think that other parts of the story were developed. I developed it because we were in a workshop. We developed it within the workshop, and yeah, I think that's most of it. That's most of it.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm answering it right.
Yeah, yeah. And also, like, how you approach this casting? Like, how did you find all these people to play what you wanted?
Uh, as it was in a workshop, we were told, or we were encouraged to be minimal in everything that we write. The workshop was Power in Constraints, as the title of the workshop. So we had to make a story, but also make it fit in with the restrictions that we will have to face within the production or after the production. So I can say that I did cast. I did not cast. I didn't make a casting because I wrote thinking about specific people who would act for me in the
Mm-hmm.
story. So as for my first character Emmanuel is in the story. It's me,
Man,
and I knew. Sorry.
yeah, yeah. I remember. I saw you.
Yes, yes, yes. The one who plays that character is my brother because I knew that not only he's a filmmaker, he's the one who initiated me in this field. So I knew that he will be able to act everything I told him
Mm-hmm.
without trying to explain much because he knows me entirely. He knows
Yeah.
me. He knows my actions and reaction to this or that. So it will be. To me, it was easier to make him act as myself. And here in Rwanda, filmmakers we are a community. When you know one filmmaker and you're you you just participate in maybe screenings or everything, you end up knowing everybody. So I had people who are also filmmakers who helped me try find other actors and actresses, but also most of them were having their first time in front of the camera. So,
Oh yeah.
but all of them were I know all of them. I know all of them from the community of filmmakers here in Rwanda. So it was not much of the casting, but writing and knowing specific people
People.
who would produce that character in front of the camera. So in such a way, that helped a lot. That helped a lot, and yeah.
Cool. Thank you so much, Emmanuel. So, guys, thank you so much for being here with us to discuss your film. It was also a pleasure to present them together. So, thank you so much for accepting the invitation at the festival. And also, like, if you like this program, please don't be shy and share it on social media. Everything will be online until October 31st. So feel free to discover other films and program on the FNC platform. So thank you so much, guys, for being here with me today. Like, it was a pleasure to have you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much as well.